What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification so you can get notified of all our latest content. Put the bell on all so that you can be the very first to know about this new content. And of course, always comment. Let us know what you think about the content of these videos. Let us know what you think about the subjects that we discuss. So without further ado, let's get into it. Again, as per another tweet from Michael Benson, who seems to be the source of a lot of knowledge in boxing, he tweeted and stated that basically there's the latest news that Anthony Yarde is at the very least thinking of leaving Tunde Ajayi, the famous lions in the camp guy, the famous guy who, you know, we don't get weak, we get deep. So basically there's news of Anthony Yarde has apparently stated that he's at the very least bit thinking and considering leaving Tunde Ajayi. And Tunde Ajayi, his long-term trainer. I know of another guy worked with him also, Tony Cisse, I think worked with him as an amateur as well, and they have a particular style of training and doing pad work, very similar to the Mayweather style. I think Tunde learned from the Mayweather gym, very similar pad work, fast punches, not very much extension on the punches, and they've got this very good technique. And from what I know of Tunde Ajayi, he's a trainer that really studies the game. From what Spencer Fearon was saying as well, he's a guy that literally has pages and pages of notes where he's writing down combinations. So from what I know of Tunde Ajayi, he seems to be a very meticulous guy, very careful about what he does. And he's got a very unusual style of doing things. He's got a very sort of flamboyant attitude, very outgoing, and very much is a lively character, is a live wire. And I've been thinking about this, you know, this is now Yarde's second loss versus Lyndon Arthur, and I think this loss here really, I believe it really hit home for Yarde and for his team. Tunde Ajayi was afterwards saying that, you know, look, these officials and judges, etc., they're playing with Anthony Yarde's career, they're playing with a young man's life, etc., etc. So Yarde certainly seemed to think that he was robbed, and Tunde Ajayi sort of seemed to think the same way. It wasn't really giving too much credit to Lyndon Arthur. I mean, he gave a little bit, he conceded a little bit, because he did say that, you know, look, this is not our night, this is their night. But he was very sort of insistent, saying that, yeah, you know, they thought they won the fight. And, you know, there is an argument for that, I suppose. Not in my book, but there is an argument for it, that if you know, forget about the commentary, you slow down and you look at the fight blow by blow, there is an argument that Anthony Yarde might have landed more clean blows. But from watching it in real time, as the judges would have watched it, it basically looked like, you know, Lyndon Arthur was in control for the majority of the fight. He was controlling Yarde with the jab, and it looked like his game plan was prevailing over Yarde's. Yarde always looked like he had the power to possibly stop Lyndon Arthur, and I personally think if he let his hands go, if he had thrown more punches and, you know, gone on the assault, gone on the sort of, instead of just follow him and, you know, throw and land your punches, then he, with a bit more aggression, I think he could have made it very clear who was winning the fight. But he decided to sort of try to counter on the front foot, which I don't think worked. A lot of people have said also about Tunde's, you know, his outlook on things, you know, the seeming feeling where him and Yarde, they seem to feel kind of invincible, that, you know, no one beats them, no one could. And I mean, a lot of people see that as a negative thing. The slogans, the chants, you know, the fun they have in the ring, and, you know, the fancy pad work, and not, a lot of people see that as a negative thing. I think it's one of those things where I find it's a funny one. I think it's like Marmite. I think those things, you either love them or you hate them. You know, I quite enjoy them. I found it, yeah, in a way it was, some of it's a little bit on the sort of corny side, because some people just say, look, you ain't achieved anything yet, so you ain't got the right to be going around bragging and going on like you're unbeatable, etc., etc. But at the same time, a lot of good pros and a lot of pros that go on to be great and go on to achieve great things tend to have this attitude of, Muhammad Ali, these guys, even prior to their great achievements, a lot of them just had that sort of attitude and that arrogance and that boldness and that confidence. So it's something that I'm quite happy to see, confidence in a fighter. But I think in this case, some of what they did and some of what they said, it kind of got a bit ahead of itself. So they're kind of talking like, yeah, we're the best and blah blah blah, but they hadn't yet proved it. They may go on to prove it, but who knows. But anyway, I mean, I believe the way that Ajayi does things, and the training methods and the slogans, the chants and the loudness and all the whole style thing, is one of them where you either love it or you hate it. It's like, it's one of those ways of doing things where if it would have succeeded, if they would have succeeded in Russia, then people would have been calling him a genius. But since they failed, since he got taken out in Russia, people were saying, well, this guy's foolish, this guy's rubbish, etc., etc. I mean, me personally, I think one of the options they could look at is possibly adding someone to the team. Rather than completely getting rid of Tunde Ajayi, they could literally just add maybe another person that they trust, that Yarde is happy with, to the team, and that might help out. But again, I don't know them personally, so maybe that might not work. I get the feeling that maybe, because in boxing there's always a lot of egos. In any industry there's going to be egos, but I think that sort of thing sounds good in a way, but it might be something that might not work, because maybe Tunde, he might feel put out by it. Maybe he won't take kindly to having another trainer there who's going to have a bit of input. So the only thing might be to just leave him. I've been thinking also about who might be a better fit for Yarde now. And for me personally, I think about two trainers. I think Shane McGuigan would be a good fit for Anthony Yarde. I've seen the excellent work that he's done with Carl Frampton, bringing him from all the way from an international amateur, training him all the way through the pros, bringing him to a world title. He's basically developing him into a world-class professional boxer from an amateur. I've seen good work from him. I've seen good work from him even with Lawrence Okoli, even in his last fight. Good improvements in Lawrence Okoli. So we've even seen him work very well with David Haye. So I think definitely Shane McGuigan is a good one for consideration. He's definitely one in my eyes, at least over in this country. But for me, I think probably the best fit you would get is someone like an Adam Booth. I think Adam Booth, in my opinion, would probably be for me the number one. If he leaves Tunde Ajayi, I think he should go to Adam Booth. I think he'd be an excellent fit. I've seen the success that he's had with David Haye and George Groves. He taught this kind of raiding style where you're waiting on the outside, jumping in, throwing your punches, jumping back out, springing into action. And he taught this kind of explosive style that I think would be very fitting for a guy like Anthony Yarde, is quite muscle bound, like a David Haye, like a smaller version of a David Haye. And I think if he could get into that Adam Booth style of, jumping in, doing your damage, jumping out, using your legs, Yarde doesn't really have a high guard or anything like that. But I think the Adam Booth style would probably, in my opinion, I think hit the style and the psychology, the whole thing would probably suit him. I think for me, I would say probably Adam Booth. There's been other suggestions like an Abel Sanchez over in America. Guy like that might be able to help. I think some people have even said, I don't know, maybe even an Atlas, Teddy Atlas, someone like that. But I think there's a lot of choices out there. But for me, I think most probably, style-wise, I reckon Adam Booth would probably be the best fit for him. Could be wrong on that. You know, I don't what he does from now. I don't know. As far as we know, it's just in the talking stages. So they're gonna have some meetings. They're gonna have sit downs together with Yarde and Tunde Ajayi. So we will see what happens in the future. That's just a few of my thoughts and my suggestions on it. You know, I wish all the best to Tunde Ajayi, whether or not he continues to work with Yarde, and the same with Anthony Yarde. Hope he continues to do well. I hope he can bounce back from this Lyndon Arthur fight first, because I think he's one of them guys, Yarde. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's got punching power. He's got the right physique. He's got the levels of fitness. But I think with Yarde, it's just a case of, you know, getting the tactics right on the night. I think against Arthur, I didn't like the tactics. I thought the tactics were kind of wrong. He should have been throwing more, you know, he should have been that bit more active in my view. And I think if he gets with a trainer who can just get him mentally right, mentally focused, and get him into the right tactics and just drilling the right things, I think he can be a serious threat at light heavyweight. I think he's got the base there, he's got the skills there. Just a few little technical developments and tactical developments, and I think he could still be a factor in the division. But again, that's my opinion. We'll have to wait and see what really happens. And until next time, this is MKO Pugilism, over and out.